All right, we are live again. One day we'll have fancy intro music, intro screen like other guys do. But for now, we just go hard cut right into it. So we got 3 people in chat right now. Hello to those watching. We got a fourth. Awesome. Starting to see some increases. I think the first week there was 1 person here when I got here. Now there's 4. So we're slowly growing over time. But yeah, excited to kind of talk more about my strategy today as far as kind of how I build, why I build certain ways, and how I rotate my players on a daily basis. We're in the middle of cup games, not cup games, league games right now, as you guys know that are watching probably. But so we're gonna just jump into my HQ here, and yeah, should be good just to watch a couple games here for off the rip, or at least a little bit in. We're in ice games right now, and we will start looking at some games maybe whenever the trust the process Philly teams are playing, just because for me, those are the teams I care about the most. Frankly, if people ask that question, what clubs I care about being trust the process. Good afternoon, Cole. Being a Philly area native, I'm about 2 hours or an hour and a half away. They're the clubs I care about the most. Overspent on a couple of these Philly locations just because I cared about them. Not so great of a season so far for these clubs. They're competitive, almost promoted last year or last season, but didn't actually make it out. And now they're actually struggling. One of them struggling to even stay in the league. So Philly A, their game's here in about 9 minutes. And then we got Philly B, and they are trying to stay out of relegation. We got a really tight battle here at the bottom part of the league. Really even going up to 5th place here, all within kind of 5 points. That's 349. So right around the same time as each other. Probably bounce around, see what happens. But for now, I guess we'll jump into some of my Spark teams just to kind of share how they're built and what that process was like and putting them together because those matches are done for the day. So we'll just pick a random team here. We'll go Scotland D. I got 4 Scotland clubs. Visited Scotland, Ireland, and England last year and really fell in love with that area and just tried to get more clubs from that area. Those red inboxes would hurt my OCD. Yeah, it's hard. And there's, what is that? Over 10,000. It's kind of fun to see where things go, but a lot of it comes from these suspended, or whenever I get offers. Let's see if we can, which tab is offers? I don't even look at them all the time. I also disabled auto renew for all my players today. So I'm going to do some restructuring over the off season. Sold a player about an hour ago, but yeah, purchase offer received for all these players just today. So it's a lot to kind of keep track of, and so it's better just to manually check on everything than it is to read that inbox. But I've been doing some selling recently, just looking at my agency, listing some players that I feel like might be a little overvalued based off of the potential NFL returns for the rest of their careers. That kind of put me in a spot where we're just looking to sell some players and then just rebuy in on a higher level. Kind of went over that in the past video. Could always touch on that again if anyone has any questions. But yeah, back to initial plans. So back to Scotland D. My goal always is to have my clubs be between 16 and 17 players. Really depends on the rotations that I'm doing. Whenever you're using wingers, it's a little bit harder to do a 16-man rotation. At least you run into some more issues. Let's be a good example. We got 2 red cards today for this club. But if you look at it, I don't know if it's still the case now. But to start the year, they were all within 5 overall of each other, except for maybe a backup goalie. Or I guess I was short a left wing or right winger. Those are kind of hard to get. And so sometimes you just take the ones you can find. But we've had some progression probably that separate things out. Yeah, +4 right here. And so he was 54 to start the season, which kind of put him in a similar range as this 48 backup keeper. But yeah, so the goal is to keep everyone within a 5 overall band of each other to start the year and then kind of reallocate things at the end of the season, which I'll touch on either in another video or later today. But so again, build everything within a 5 overall and also build it so that we can cycle through rotations and get everyone rest, but get everyone a good amount of playing time. So going into tomorrow, this club We see our strikers in the yellow, so pretty tired. And then our CDM is also going to be suspended with a red card. And our backup CM. Okay, so our CM, this guy uses a CM for me. He is also suspended for tomorrow. He may have gotten that suspension in an earlier match during the cup run. And so really, I'm really pigeonholed into one formation here. It's a 4-2-4. Unfortunately, the striker has to play. This is kind of some of the problems with running tight rotations, is that I really don't have enough midfielders. Like if you look at the rest of my available players, to be able to run anything else. And so whoever Mafra Community Club is, congratulations if you're watching. You know what I'm running tomorrow. And we'll do this for the rest of my Spark clubs. You can just see my process and how different situations will result in different decisions. But yeah, he's going to have to play through his tiredness. Sorry, bud. But he's going to get more playing time as a result. So we'll save this and move on. Now, again, different formations that I kind of have combinations for result in different rotations. So Panama here, I think we'll have a different. Oh, it's also another one, so we'll come back to that one. Try to find another formation rotation so you guys can see some different examples. So this is one where it's just 4-2-2-2s throughout. Kind of half the roster will sub out at once. And so I don't know which one that is. I'm just saving as different presets. And there we go. Pretty much everyone is in the green. Save that and move on. This whole process as a whole, typically, if I'm going through all the clubs, could take as much as a half hour or so. Some of you guys got in the yellow today. I think this one's a little bit of a tough situation, but yeah, you'll see this is a common one I have where it's a 4-1-2-1-2, and then a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, and a 4-4-2 and a 3-5-2. Again, rotating midfielders out, and so whenever these center mids take breaks, the left mid, right mid comes in. Whenever these guys takes breaks, left mid, right mid comes in, and you'll just see the different formations here. So may run something like this tomorrow. Won't be running this. And just because the center mids are both tired, we're probably going to leave the CDM in, who's going to be tired. But ultimately, the three at the back gives both left back, right back rest while playing everyone else. And so this really leads to having a good amount of playing time for everybody. Again, you get some situations where some guys do play when they're tired. Maybe I'll look to see. I do have a CDM that I can play here. And so yeah, that'll help with them be a little less tired. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. He's actually a CM for me, so we got to play the CDM. And we'll go from there. But that's kind of how things go through on a general sense. We'll go through a couple more clubs just to see what that process is like. A lot of these Tunisia clubs were clubs that were in ice recently, and so though they fell down to Spark, they're kind of semi-competitive in a lot of instances. So here we rotate between the 4-2-4, and then a lot of my rotations for wingers is 4-2-4, and then 4-3-3, 4-3-3. And so center mids all playing 2 out of 3, CDM playing 2 out of 3, resting in the 4-2-4. Strikers swap out, and then they'll play together in the 4-2-4. And then the wingers, there's 3 of them that kind of rotate through for each other. That's kind of how I keep everyone kind of fresh while still getting a lot of games. And so when we look at this roster, for example, we'll see overall games played already. And pretty much everyone gets a good amount of playing time. One example here, Harabi isn't doing so well for playing time. Sometimes some guys slip through the cracks, but I'm curious what that could be a result of. But that might just be the fact that maybe he signed late or something like that. But he's, I think, a striker rotation for me. Yeah. Let's see what 4-2-4. Yeah, so maybe I just got caught in rotation for a while. But in general, it's hard to keep track of everybody, to be honest. But that's kind of how things go from the bottom of my agency. Kind of quick run through, grab different clubs. I think this club's a unique situation where, yeah, they weren't structured properly. Again, some clubs do fall through the cracks. But bottom of the table, that's kind of how things work. My upper end teams, I'll do a little more scouting. I'll see who I'm playing against, if they're a good team. So, for example, this Partenlope team is by far the worst club in our silver division. And so I took advantage there to rest my goalie. which I feel like any person would that's paying attention. And yeah, so yesterday we got to rest our goalies. Now we get to start our main goalie and also play our star right wing back. Gonna play a 5-4-1 today. I don't know if Intabu is watching. I doubt it, considering that there's 4 people here still. Actually, I can't see that. But yeah, the main goal being I want to make sure I don't give up any goals. This is an important game today, and so I want to really try to make sure I get this win and be strong in the midfield. But like I said, we're going to jump in and watch a little bit of Philly clubs, and then we'll come back to some more information as far as the rotations and how I build go. It looks like today, if we're going to go back and just check out where this club was standing. Forgot to check on that before we did. Start Rio, one of the bottom clubs, and so it's a game we really need to capitalize on if we want to hopefully still have the chance of promoting out of this division, but out of this league. Let's see here. So first, I guess we'll back out for a second, just to show kind of what my gameplay for today was. You have to trust me on this because I can't see it right now. My left back and right back were getting pretty tired. Or one had a red card. I forget what it was. So I had to go 3 at the back for this game. So if this team doesn't carry a backup left back or right back, it's just when one's tired or one gets a red card, it's all of a sudden 3-back formation, and then filling in from there on out. So this club you'll see as a whole will have the opportunity to run either 4-1-2-1-2. Or a 4-2-2-2, or this 3-back. That's kind of the rotations that this has, depending on where people are at tired-wise and such. So, yeah, I don't know who Rio de Arcino Sports Group is. I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly, but I don't know how much you care right now, given. No, you are rotating. That's good. You're just a little outmatched in this league, but hopefully we can make sure we get this win today. They're a better side than I thought they were going to be for being 1 point. Now, granted, my side is significantly stronger, and that's probably how it's been for the rest of the teams he's played against, 72, 71, 72. Yeah, so we're good. 5 points better in most situations. Oh, there we go. We got a goal. This guy is someone, I forget when I picked him up. But he's at the point where I might be looking to sell him this offseason. So if you're interested, let me know. He's got great shooting. Well, maybe not great. He's got good enough shooting for being a rare and good pace, but might be starting to plateau. So I'm a little concerned about that, considering he broke here and hasn't changed yet, or hasn't gotten to a 76. I don't even know if he's progressed in any stat really since then. Might be at his prime age already. So we'll see if we can trust the process Philly A out of the league, and if not, things will go from there. But the good news is we're looking pretty strong in this expected goals category right now. And we'll see if we can get another one here. Nope. But you'll also see, as I spoke to earlier, everyone on this club, at least playing right now, are all within 5 of each other. Widest range is 74 striker Petit, who I was hoping to tier break. In fact, I don't know if he went from all season for that. Yeah, again, another guy that might just be done, or it's just a long tier jail. But the 74 to 78 is the widest gap that we have on this club. 74 CDM as well. And so again, trying to keep within that 5 range. And if you don't know why that is, I'm happy to go into more detail on it. Just reading the white paper, it's important to have your players within a certain band of each other. What's also nice about that for me is someone that kind of blindly rotates in a lot of senses, especially in the lower levels. If they're all within 5, you're not stressed about getting your best side out there very much, because considering the club as a whole, no matter what formation you pick, is all in a very similar sort of standing on the overall level. And maybe I could have more prioritize Cup this year. It's been a pretty tough Cup run. I think all of my Iron and Up clubs are now out of Cup, and maybe even Stone clubs. It's been a tough year for that. But yeah. Another news, we'll just give a Diamond update whenever this finishes. Ron John's done a great job managing. We managed to get out of the cup, get to the knockout rounds. Didn't last very long, but for our club to at least make the knockouts was a great sign, because it's been a tough league year, as expected, on some level. We learned a lot in this first year. Looks like I was hoping for more than a 1-0 win here, to be honest, but a win's a win, and that'll help us move up in the standings nonetheless, as long as we can hold on here. Maybe one last chance at a second goal. Nope. Taken away on the goal line by Saudi. Let's just hope this stops here. Anytime the highlight wants to stop, that'd be great. Anytime. All right, cool. So we should get out of here with a win. Awesome. And with that, we'll go back to some more agency update pieces here. So we'll go through Charles just to get to the Diamond Club here. That's kind of how I usually get to him. So we unfortunately lost to DFC Amsterdam Lions in the Cup a couple days ago. Or actually, was it the start of the day yesterday? No, a couple days ago. But we ended up beating them in our league match. And so great job to Ranjan for some coaching there. Unfortunately, we still find ourselves, in essence, bottom of the table for teams that are actually trying. But within striking range, right? A couple of wins, and we can be right there. Today's match against Naples Gold Feathers is I think one of our other wins this year. Yeah, 1-2. I'm sure he wasn't too happy with that. Herta is there's probably some variance involved for that, but we'll take it nonetheless. And so yeah, we saw our cup. We ended up getting 3 wins out of it, so that's gonna be a good MFL for us here. Getting those 16.5. So what is that gonna be? 33,000 plus another 16.5, so 49,500. Just split between the 3 of us is gonna be pretty nice. But yeah, that's the Diamond update. Not much else to show there. We'll see how today's match goes against Herta's side. But yeah, I just want to touch more on kind of the process as far as when the season ends, as far as what I'm looking to do. And we'll go in more details in other videos about this. But I'm going to be I turn off auto renewal for everybody, because I'm looking to, again, reevaluate some things in the agency. It's going to be a busy off season. On vacation next week, so might spend some time sitting on the porch, just going through MFL. Great way to spend vacation. And just reevaluating kind of what players I want to have in the agency, or digging more into strategy as far as how to make players interact better with each other. Because I'm kind of famous or infamous for not really using too much tactics, or someone calls it losing on purpose. I don't lose on purpose. I just don't care about winning as much as other people do. And I will say I just care more about development. To me, that's winning. Speaking of winning, if you were live for the pack drop that we had this past Wednesday, was able to pack this guy from a rare pack. Was pretty excited about that. Been on a good little run for pack luck, especially mid transfer window. I got this guy out of a limited pack last year's transfer window pack drop day, but that was off of a limited pack that I bought off of Floaty, which I feel bad for the guy that sold that pack, but hopefully he doesn't know that he was that guy. But yeah, so 2 right mids coming out of these mid-season pack drops, which is good because otherwise my left mids had some high-level left mids that needed some running partners. We had Charles at 92, Villanuevos at, I think he's actually just tier broke this year or this season. And so now these guys can run together whenever they're currently in Diamond. And next year, maybe find a place where I can run Hilton, maybe with another one of my left mids and Gucci, another one of like Quintez. But I did sign him to this club here, which I was hoping to get a couple more playing games from Nosy Sark, but I'm sure he's on top of it. I'm sure he doesn't want to give up an extra 5% of his rev share. And we'll see if he ends up playing today with this top side. But I signed him to this club because he's doing a great job managing him otherwise. I mean, top of the table in gold. Great opportunity to get some quality playing time and training with some good other players on the club. Where is he here? Yeah, so I honestly didn't know why he's offered a contract. He's another strong right mid here. And then there was mine that he signed, but I was happy to have him come along either way. And so we'll see how the rest of the season plays out there. But yeah, so we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Like I said, my silver club is trying to survive right now. Got a tight race here. And this is really the main club that I care about the most as far as trying to maintain where it's at, just because it's my only silver club. I'll have this silver club next year. Yes, it's gold now. Trust the process, old timers. Part of the thing is we'll see if we can get 11th instead of 12th. We'll have a big match against Marseille. I can't remember if they're a lower overall team as well, or if they're just not rotating. I think we play them later in the year. It'll be to close out the season. Yeah, it'll be second to last match. But again, this club wasn't anticipated to do very well. Definitely see we're very outmatched. But everyone's getting good playing time. But their ratings are pretty poor. But a lot of them had plateaus in their progression anyway, it seemed, whenever I brought them into this club. So this club will not be good to play in gold next year. So not too concerned about being relegated with the new requirements coming out for minimum overalls for players. But how'd the other Philly team do? Are they still going? Let's check in here on Philly B real quick. And let's check away from Philly B here real quick. Not going so well. Power creep is a real thing. And I think that's ultimately why I feel that some players are becoming overvalued. Because the rewards, I don't think, have increased enough for the power creep. Heck, whenever Iron Clubs used to be able to be fielded with, actually, this is probably a bad example because this is another bad team that I just put in because I needed to field a roster. I think Sweden's a good iron side. Iron Clubs used to be able to compete with 75 overalls, and now I'm ninth in the table, 7th in the table, with a bunch of mid rares. Rewards haven't changed much. The 15% increase was nice this season, but I just don't know if that equates to enough value whenever you're talking about the amount of extra power you need to have to compete in division at the moment. Let alone like the fact that I have clubs that are in Spark right now that are like uncommon clubs here. Let me see if I can find one example. Again, some of that could be poor management, but in a general sense, I think a lot of it too is the fact that we are really struggling to see this power creep not get in the way. There's some uncommons there, but there's others that have more. I actually watched a video today of I'm blanking on his name, but he is another streamer. Begins with a K. I'll have to apologize to him later, but we're in the same division for our clubs, and he was streaming in this match against me yesterday. He got a win, and I got another draw, and so he's going to be pretty excited. Shizu, that's his name. Kempi, that's his name. Enjoyed watching his video today. Definitely check it out. He was trying to diagnose my club. I apparently surprised him with who I decided to play, but some of that was due to the fact that it's just how rotations fell. And I think I get some more credit for tactics than I actually have, because just a little sneak peek on this team here. There's no tactics. It's just very base besides depth. Really, in general, for most of my clubs right now, all I do is set a depth line as far as defense goes, and there's no other really individual instructions or anything like that, except for maybe my top clubs. I'm not going to go into it just in case I do have some tactics in there. But yeah, in a general sense, that's why I want to kind of focus on this offseason, is get more into the tactics game, because I think the process can still work, but I need to be a little more on top of tactics in some respects if I want my players to play in the right divisions and not get relegated to play in the wrong divisions, or else the returns are just going to be poor. So, but yeah, last thing I want to touch on, because I know this has been a hot thing in Discord, and I kind of made this, and some people saw it in Discord. People are wondering what happened to XP. Why are players not developing the second half of the season? If you look at the white paper, you get 18% of your XP if you play. I think it was 15% of games, something like that. And then you get 60% combined XP if you play in, I think, 40% of the games. And so what I did was I basically explained out how many games, what percentage makes up that amount of games. It's like half the games is apparently going to be 80% of your XP for the season. And so right now, second half of the year, we're really at this point, players are playing their 15th, 16th, 17th game. And you're getting basically half or less than half of the XP that you're used to per game for these players. So someone that still wants to get ideally 20 games for my players to try to get to potentially 100% progression or close to it is something that I'm trying to do, but I also understand progression is not going to look the same at the latter half of the year opposed to earlier. And so, yeah, we'll just click on some examples here. Progression, if we just say today, custom, the last 24 hours. It's been kind of sad in a sense. Like none of my Legos have progressed much at all. Maybe not even really many stats here. I think I blew past them. Yeah, we got +1 defending, which is good. +1 defending on the Legos as well. But yeah, not seeing much movement at the top. We did get one guy closer to a Lego. He's had a very steady progression throughout his career. Nothing wild, but a good steady progression throughout the whole time. Nothing wild as far as in one season. Progressing from a 56 all the way up to now an 84 is pretty great. No complaints there. But yeah. Shout out real quick before we go. Tonight I'm doing a video. Pretty excited about this opportunity. I'm doing a video with Ryan Walter. I think that's what the R is there. I just know him as R Walter. He's a channel here on YouTube as well. He basically is interviewing different managers in the space, and hopefully it's okay with me spoiling this now, but we'll be talking tonight at 10, so 6 hours from now, we get to talk more NFL. And so I'm going to let you guys go now, and that way I can spend more time with the family before that. I also got a meeting for work in between. Real work does have to happen. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Whoever ends up watching, thank you for chat for being here. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one, ideally. I don't know if we'll be on next week. We're actually on vacation. Might take 30 minutes out to do this again, just because I enjoy it. But we'll see where we're at for that time. So yeah, evening, afternoon, morning, good night, wherever you're at. Thank you all for coming. And we'll catch you on the next one.